I woke up to the sound of my friends giggling and whispering in the dark. We were having a sleepover at my house, and I invited my 3 best friends. We had spent the evening gossiping and watching movies like most girls my age do. When it got late, we were all supposed to be asleep, but one of my friends kept making a lot of commotion. I sat up in bed and rubbed my eyes, trying to adjust to the darkness. "What's going on?" I asked. "We're going to play a game," my friend Sarah whispered. "It's called Midnight Man." I had never heard of this game before, but my friends seemed excited about it. They explained the rules to me. We had to write our names on a piece of paper, turn off all the lights, and light a candle. Then we had to knock on the front door 5 times, open it, blow out the candle, and wait for the Midnight Man to arrive. I was skeptical, but my friends were insistent. They said it was just a silly game, and nothing bad would happen. So we wrote our names on a piece of paper, turned off all the lights, and lit a candle. We took turns knocking on the front door, counting each knock out loud. When we got to 5, we opened the door and blew out the candle, and then we waited. At first, nothing happened. We sat in silence, waiting for something to happen. But then we heard a sound, a faint whispering that seemed to be coming from all around us. We looked at each other, our eyes wide with fear. And then we heard footsteps, slow and deliberate, coming up the stairs. We huddled together in my bed, our hearts pounding in our chests. The footsteps grew louder and louder until they were right outside my bedroom door. And then the door creaked open, as my friends and I were wary about what was going to happen. Then the door suddenly stopped. For a few seconds, everything was still, and all we could hear was the wind howling from outside. Then we heard a whisper come from my closet. Before our very own eyes, we saw him, the Midnight Man. He was tall and thin, with long, spindly fingers, and a face that was twisted into a forbidding smile with piercing, glowing eyes. We screamed and tried to run, but he was too fast. He grabbed each of us by the arm and dragged us out of the room, down the stairs and out the front door. As we managed to slip away, we ran through the streets, our hearts pounding in our chests. We could hear the Midnight Man laughing behind us, his footsteps echoing through the night. When we finally stopped running, we realized that one of us was missing. Sarah was gone. We searched the streets, calling out her name, but she was nowhere to be found. We went to the police, but they didn't believe us. They said it was a silly game and Sarah was probably just playing a prank on us. But we knew the truth. The Midnight Man had taken her, and he was still out there waiting for his next victim. We never played that game again, and we never forgot the terror of that night. Years went by, and we all went our separate ways. But I never forgot about Sarah, and I never forgot about the Midnight Man. And then, one day, I received a package in the mail. It was from Sarah. Inside the package was a note, written in shaky handwriting. It said that she had been taken by the Midnight Man, and that he had kept her captive for years. The note also contained a map, with a location marked in red. It was deep in the woods, miles away from where I used to live as a kid. There was also something disturbing that I can't get out of my mind to this day. Next to the note and map, there was a picture of Sarah, but she was missing her limbs as if she was mutilated, and behind her, standing, was him, the Midnight Man, smiling at me back through the photo as he could see me. And written underneath the photo with blood were the words, "Find me." About a couple of years ago, I spent the weekend at my friend's ranch in Texas. We had planned a sleepover with a few of our friends, and I couldn't wait to explore the big property and have some fun. Little did I know that this would be a night I would never forget. As we arrived at the ranch, I noticed the atmosphere was different. The air was thicker than usual, carrying a strange silence that sent shivers down my spine. The sky was dark and foreboding, as if it held a secret that it was unwilling to reveal. We settled into our sleeping bags in the living room, ready for a night of laughter and ghost stories. As the night continued on, I started to feel a growing unease. It was as if an invisible presence lurked in the shadows, watching our every move. I tried to ignore it and focus on the stories, but the feeling only intensified. Suddenly, we heard a loud banging on the front door. My friend's dad went to check it out, but there was no one there. We continued telling ghost stories and joking about how scared each of us was, thinking it was just a prank or the wind playing tricks on us. But the feeling of unease persisted. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. As we settled into our sleeping bags, I heard a strange noise coming from outside. They sounded like heavy footsteps, but they were too loud and heavy to be human. I tried to dismiss it as my imagination, but the noise only grew louder. Suddenly, the car alarm went off and my friend's dad went outside with his shotgun to check it out. As I went to the window that was facing the front yard, I could see a dark figure that appeared to be a man a few feet away from the car. I could see my friend's dad standing outside on the front patio in fear, like he just saw a ghost. I ran back to the living room where my friends were, and then I heard gunshots. I also heard yelling coming from down the hall. It was my friend's dad. He came running to the living room we were in, and I noticed that he had a huge claw-like cut on his chest. It chased us through the house, its claws scraping against the walls, leaving deep gouges in its path. Its heavy breathing and the sound of its footsteps echoed through the halls, amplifying our fear. Finally, we managed to barricade ourselves in one of the bedrooms. We huddled together, shaking with fear, as the figure pounded on the door. Its low growls and snarls sent chills down our spines, and we knew that we were in grave danger. As the night wore on, the figure eventually disappeared, leaving us in a state of shock and disbelief. We were too scared to leave the room, so we stayed huddled together until morning. When we finally left the room, we found the house in disarray. Furniture was overturned, and there were claw marks on the walls, serving as a chilling reminder of the horrors we had experienced. Looking back at it, I don't know what attacked us, but the ranch holds a dark secret, and I can't help but wonder if the figure we encountered was actually real or my imagination.